This is Tory North.
Yeah.
And you're listening to the Tri-City Mixtape.
Graveyard.
Check out my new single, Pain, featuring Wildcard.
One time. Filling up my cup of pain. Feeling stuck, I'm going insane. Giving up, that's from the brain. Fucking up, that's from the shame. Will I ever break these chains? Will I ever be the same? I come so far, it's kinda strange. Hide these scars, can't hide this pain.
Trying to get right, but depression's ugly and I really want to leave. But she says she loves me and I'm tired of taking medicine. Inevitable veteran, I'm setting up the letterman when death becomes me. And I got sober, no more rum and Pepsi. And I finally got off all the ice like Gretzky. And I got a pretty ass little girl best friend, but she keeps on fucking everybody else except me. No more Michelob chords or the crystal, the snore bomb skip on the floor like the middle of war. It's a distant accord, then I'm kissing a whore. And I get her and I leave a leg split like divorce. When I finally stop getting high and share coronas and I went on dope tours, Ohio to Arizona. But my mind still hurts, but these meds do help. It's like Fight Club, cause I beat up myself.
Filling up my cup of pain. Feeling stuck, I'm going insane. Giving up, that's from the brain. Fucking up, that's from the shame. Will I ever break these chains? Will I ever be the same? I come so far, it's kinda strange. Hide these scars, can't hide this pain. My grind is hungry, my time is money. I find it funny, then you find it funny. Scan from the bottom like you're finding money. You set the trap for any kind of dummy. Then you blend so fast that they're blinded from it. All the flaws, you're blinded of them. We all can see it, you can't hide it from us. You try and run it, but you're dying from it. Like what?
Been through hell, won't light a match, cause the PTSD might send me back. You walk my nerves, mind might react. I work too hard for them like that. Need my peace of mind, yeah. Need my space and time, yeah. Can't chase this ego, swallow the pride. Time is compromised, yeah.
Filling up my cup of pain. Feeling stuck, I'm going insane. Giving up, that's from the brain. Fucking up, that's from the shame. Will I ever break these chains? Will I ever be the same? I come so far, it's kinda strange. Hide these scars, can't hide this pain.
I'm smoking in the background. Big red, no bullshit. Bitches knowing how to act now. Big head, no bullshit. I see the junior trying to cash now. Big lead, that's full clips. Every fire got an ass shot.
Should've read that blueprint.
I've been watching out binoculars, stop it, it's no purple. Ninja with the mix, like stop it, it's no turtle. That's Morpheus the nigga on top of like 4 Regals are stronger than 4 Theos, like stop it, it's no hurdles. Call me Graham for the time, but a dime on my nose. Got a line for the draw. Ego. I be watching all these flows like the thighs are exposed. I was signed to an oath. Ego. I'ma watch it come and go, like the line with it hoe. Couldn't rhyme with it go. Ego. They don't really wanna slide with it though. Made me have to remind them. Ego.
Put your ego in check, I put egos in checks. Too many knots, my accountant is stressed. Fire myself just to hire a friend. I'm building a plane, loan it out to my friends. Influence throughout, sorted out with the trends. In with the coupe and we out with the band. She blowing like soup and she drowning in bowls. She working the circus, is clowning, I know. Went from engagement with cocky Caucasians to global engagement with all of these nations and all of these stations. You'll hear I'm the one. Space to my ex, cause my grind is elong. Cops ever watches the time and we on. We evolving in motion, the time is strong. Ravers and nakers, the grinding is strong. Bakers, we caking, the frosting is on. Too many times, you rappers get sweeters. They turn to meat eaters, they turn to some tweeters. Knock your girl speakers, she drives a no beamer. Her mom for Colima, my problem, yo, keep her.
This is the Tri-Cities Mixtape podcast, and today we have an interview with a young man who's been doing this for over a decade. So we have from Pasco, writer, rapper, podcaster, and clothing designer, Tory North.
Hey, man, how you doing? Thank you for inviting me into your studios.
Yeah, man, thank you for coming. Were you born here in the Tri-Cities?
Yeah, I was born in Pasco, pretty much raised all over the Tri-Cities.
Were you a writer first or a rapper first, or what got you into wanting to express yourself musically?
I think that I was just naturally a performer because ever since I was a young man, I gravitated towards like hip-hop music. I remember being like 4 years old and like reciting DJ Quick lyrics.
Nice.
The explicit version of them, mind you. And I was allowed to
you had some cool parents? Or
yeah, some very cool parents. I was allowed to cuss and say whatever I needed to get those songs off, and then they would take me to go get ice cream because they thought it was kind of cute.
No.
Yep.
Dude.
That's right.
Were you an only child?
No.
Oh, damn.
I was just the oldest. I was the firstborn, so.
There you go. There you go.
I got treated like royalty in a sense.
Is that kind of like where your kind of leadership or your like top dog attitude comes from?
I think I get that from my dad.
Yeah.
But a lot of it has to be with, the birth order being the firstborn. Yeah.
Were you named after your dad too? Or?
No.
Okay.
I was named after a special doctor who made a big impact on my mom when she was going through the process of me being, getting ready to be born and stuff. Yeah, his name was Victor, and she always liked that name. She thought it was a very powerful
it's a strong name. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how she named me. Because my dad wasn't in the picture when I was first born, but he did come back around.
Right on. All right, so I know this. I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you either way. I know Tory North is not your first rap name.
Right.
Would you like to share some of your first rap names that you can remember? Because last I remember you were, I think, Bowser Vic.
Yes. I was like Bowser Vic for like the first 10 years of my rap career.
Was that your first rap name?
That wasn't the first one, but it was the one that we went official with. But
right.
The very first rap name was 1-2 City.
1-2 City?
1-2 City. And that was because I was number 1 and number 2 in the city.
I fucking love it. The cockiness.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was probably like 11 or 12 when I was 1-2 City.
I love it.
And I was ready for all the smoke, believe that.
Yeah, no shit. All right, and where did it graduate to from there?
Well, we went from 1-2 City, then we changed it to Escobar City because I was a big Nas fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I figured, I'm going to keep the city, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of a little bit of worldly feel to it. And then after that, there was a moment where I was watching 106 in Park. It was like the freestyle competitions they used to have on BET. And there was this guy his name was Bowser from the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
And I thought to myself, like, man, that name's way too good for this guy.
Yeah.
So I stole his fucking name, and and then I added Vic because, it was my thing to show people the transition from one name to the next by keeping part of the name, even if it was for a little while.
Right.
So Bowser Vic was just an adaptation of where I was coming from, 1-2 City, and there was another name that I was throwing around because I was trying to go into a couple different genres in the beginning. England Starks was another name that I was throwing around.
Okay.
That was going to be more of a producer, rapper sort of thing.
I would say England Stark sounds like a dude who does rap, but he also does like electro pop R&B.
That's kind of like where it was kind of going, because I got two sides of me. I got this lyrical side to me.
Yeah.
It's just a student of hip hop. Like you could quiz me damn near on anything, right?
Yeah.
And then I got this like experimental alternative vibe. That's why like Lupe Fiasco really led me into like Kanye West and then starting to branch off that way. So I've always been a fan of like, the gratuitous nature of like some of the most hardcore hip hop, but I also really enjoy the freedom that comes along with the artistic expression of say a Kanye West or even Lupe,
You came on my radar, I want to say back in the West Coast Wednesday Rock Reactor days. I think we both performed at one of those things.
There was a couple of segments that the Rock Reactor was having back in those days where they were doing some experimental formatting, and I think that's probably where we're talking about.
But I know for sure at the Tuscan Sands in what is it? Is it Zilla? No.
That was Zilla, yes.
Is it Zilla? Yeah,
that's Zilla.
Yeah, I remember seeing you perform there, and what was her name? Wheezy was putting on like Northwest Spotlight or something.
That's right. Yeah. Oh
and I remember noticing that you had a lot of confidence. And it makes sense now, but also I could tell at the time, maybe it was just the haircut and some of the mannerisms. I could tell you were in the Drake era, because that was when Drake was really dope. I checked out like after Headlines and it popped in a few times after.
I can't ever really say that I looked at Drake in a formatting way, but I think that subconsciously whoever's at the top of the game, they're in your line of sight.
Yeah,
and
but you were so
super
super young. You're like what, early 20s then?
Yeah, very very young. Because
I'm a few years older than you, and I was like mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
So you were definitely.
I was right in that. I was very impressionable. This was before I was able to lock in who I was, but I would say that I was really big into Cash Money Million. You know what it is?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. A lot of Drake was a big fan of like a lot of the.
Well, he was an extension of that. Wayne brought him out. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So I was naturally from the same kind of like fandom. You know what I'm saying? So like the way that he looks at Cash Money Millionaires, or the way that he looked at Dipset, or even Jay-Z, I don't say that I copied him, but I'm about the same age as Drake is, and we were just naturally growing up in hip hop at the same time. So I think that it's natural for you to kind of like pick up on some of those things. But like even from the beginning of like my fandom, when it came to like creating who I was gonna be as an artist, it was Jay-Z, it was Eminem, Nas, 50 Cent. G-Unit played a huge part in that. I come more from that time period.
That's your era.
Yeah, most definitely.
So yeah, what were the first subjects you found yourself writing about? Was it just whatever, Skittles and soda pop, or
it was a lot of braggadocio rap? I was big into like punchline rap, so I had a lot of Dipset influence, but I also had like a gravitation towards like your Wu-Tang, your boom bap style. So what I was trying to do was like, if you were gonna create a customized character in a video game, you're gonna hit max on everything. I was hitting max on everything as far as every different genre of rap that I deemed tough and cool and confident, because that's what I needed to feel. I needed to feel that way, and I used the music as like almost like a red pill, waking me up to the realities of who I could be. And it's crazy, before the internet was really as accessible as it is, rap music was like our internet, because you found out information so fast from different parts of the world, and you almost had a worldly kind of vibe.
No, dude, I've learned more American history through fucking rap music. Black Wall Street, so many fucking things that they literally never taught us in school.
Tuskegee experiments.
All that. It's nuts that hip hop was the history books that, I mean, well, nowadays they are fucking taking them out, but that we were again denied then.
And that's what I was all about, knowledge. And that's what I still am all about. I'm all about figuring out like the most efficient way for me to become like a more knowledgeable and more powerful in my own right type of person.
What do you remember as your first like public musical performance, and your first as, all right, I'm doing this, I'm Bowzovic, or I'm like, what would you say is your first, I say grown up, or for like legit performance, but then your first like school talent show or rapping in the park or whatever?
Right. Okay, so we didn't go through the channels like normally people would do with like talent shows or local shows or whatever. And we got our start by doing house shows.
Oh, and you're saying
me and my partner Eduardo, my rap partner, he was in the group Hard Hitters with me.
Okay, Hard Hitters.
And that started about 2005. So
was that your first rap group?
Yeah, my first rap group. And I had a couple years where I was just solo.
What was homeboy's name again?
His rap name was Cold War Cam, but his name's Eduardo.
Shout out to Eduardo.
Yeah,
Hard
much
Hitters.
love. He was my homie who literally gave me the courage to take on the world with the music. Before it was just me in my bedroom, trying to figure out how we were going to get on stage and things of that nature. But then I had the courage to look into some different unconventional ways of doing shows. And I remember the first time I had a house that I was renting out when I was like 20 years old. And
flex.
we were literally throwing a huge house party because I've always been able to, the ladies always gravitated towards me. So I was able to have like 40 girls and then 10 guys. Like that's how we would always do it, right? Well, they gave us the confidence to get up on the coffee table, so we started performing our songs on the coffee tables at the house parties.
Right.
And then next thing you know, we started having DJs show up, and we started really doing performances at that house that we were having, which was off of Canal over here if you were driving in Kennewick.
Okay.
Like in the older side where they're starting to clear out the bridge to bridge area. Yeah, so
you guys were throwing your own house shows. Or what evolved into being your own house shows?
That was the seed that we planted. But then it went over to, and I love metalcore, I love hardcore, emo, I love all of that because they are the most friendly and open-armed people. They gave us our chance to really start performing for their audiences. We did a house show with my buddies in a band called the Shyless. They were pretty big around here. I think they changed their name to like Mind Like Mine or something like that. We did a house show there, and everybody was just going crazy because after the show I started doing hardcore vocals. Like after our performance I started doing hardcore vocals for like one of the bands while they were performing. They're like, this guy, he can do screaming and then he can also do the rapping thing. And it really unlocked a side of me that really kind of, it was my strength, but it was also my weakness in a sense, because being that you had that flair of alternative to you, you didn't get taken serious on a lyrical level.
Yeah.
Because they always put an asterisk by your name, like, oh, he's cool, but he also is like a rocker type dude.
Right.
Fast forward to when Lil Uzi, Playboy Cardi, all these dudes came out.
Actually, I want to go back, man, and this is no disrespect to your entire catalog.
Yeah.
But my very fucking favorite song, and I remember back in 2012 or whatever, I told you to email me the track. You never did, but it's fine.
Oh man.
No. But fucking Just Say It. It
Just
was
Say
a
It.
fucking emo rap breakup song, and you were fucking like 20 years ahead of your time.
That's the one. That right there.
Just Say It is my favorite Tory North. I don't know if it was technically Tory North or was what?
Leah Minor.
Leah Minor. Okay.
And you know what's crazy is I'll talk to her every couple years, and she wants to come back to making music.
She still sing?
Yeah, that girl, she doesn't lose that voice.
Well, I know, but
she still sings, but she doesn't have like aspirations to follow it like she used to.
Right.
But I almost feel like she's just waiting for like me to have like the right situation for her to kind of fall back into.
Right.
So she's still active, and that song is a very important song because it really showed me that if you invest in writing into a certain kind of theme or an element, it could have a bigger payoff than if you were to just do what comes naturally, like stream of conscious, like when you hear an instrument. And that's more of mixtape writing.
No,
when you
also,
hear beats.
If I didn't know that you were doing both parts, like you wouldn't know. You'd be like, oh, who's this other guy? Who's the rapper? Who's the whiny emo singer? Which again, that I'm not saying that as a pejorative because that's a fucking vibe, and I loved it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And then again, like in the last 4 or 5 years, fucking emo rock and emo coming into everything. Emo infiltrated, like influenced all the XXX and
the
fucking
SoundCloud era.
You were saying.
Been about almost 10 years now. Since 2015, they kicked the door down on that emo rap stuff. And you know what's so funny is that then I can see a timeline where if I would have continue to like just evolve into that format, it would have been the perfect timing for the SoundCloud stuff.
Yeah, you could have been one of the godfathers of that shit.
Yeah. See, when I see like Lil Peep and all these guys, I was like, okay, that's where I would have been on if I didn't start working on my mental health.
Where did that? Yeah, right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're happy that you did that.
Respectfully.
Yeah. But no, but that was But you didn't know how good of a fucking emo band you could have.
Hey, we gotta talk about something temporary time. Just give me a call.
These words are killing me, and I'm trying to say words that won't come out. Just say it, just say it, just say it.
I wish you could read my mind, 'cause I can't find the words to let it out, but I'm trying to say it. Ooh, say it, oh, say it. So good. I'm sitting here alone in my thoughts, thinking of ways to let you down easy, but I can't find the word. You know it hurts. This is the hardest thing I ever had to do. It doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong, 'cause in the end we end up alone. Go ahead and point your finger for someone to blame, but these feelings inside never will change. I made up my mind, I followed my heart, and in the end we're better apart. I think about the pros and cons, how everything went right to wrong. Thought our love was powerful, but it was never strong. I used to cry myself to sleep at night. Feelings were twisted, I couldn't decide. Now this is goodbye, so these words I write, and finally they have me around.
These words are killing me, and I'm trying to say words that won't come out. Just say it, just say it, just say it.
I wish you could read my mind, 'cause I can't find the words to let it out, but I'm trying to say it. Ooh, say it, oh, say it. So good.
I found a letter in my pocket, the jacket you bought, reminiscing to times before the magic would stop. I thought we were picture perfect, but the camera would drop and destroy all the footage that I managed to crop. You were once my puzzle piece, but this isn't life. You're in the other room tonight, this isn't right. Should I let you go and start a different life? Or should I try and revive something that I know will die? I've heard it before, so fuck where you stand. We went from a doll to nothing again. We cannot just fuck, we cannot be friends. I told you before and I'll tell you again, and I hope that you really figure it out. Cause the check that you cash is as big as your mouth. Don't act like you don't know what this shit is about. This is goodbye, I hope I stay strong. Cause late in the night when I am alone, I'm missing your side, but I will move on. I'm stronger than you and the pain in my bones will never subside, but leave me alone. And maybe in time we'll both be right, but this is the song that I wrote for you, and this right here is my goodbye. These words are killing me, and I'm trying to say words that won't come out. Just say it, just say it, just say it.
I wish you could read my mind, cause I can't find the words to let it out, but I'm trying to say it. Ooh, say it, oh, say it. So
dope bass you ever heard.
Hey, it's me, Tory. Check out OPM off of Mr. Northwest.
OPM.
Shout out to G-Lo.
OPM feel what is real, what is real. OPM feel what is real, what is real.
Tatted up, you see my pain, and I smile now cause things have changed. I wild out for them cleaner days, hiding out never seemed as great. I was lining out until the scenery changed. The people left and then the scene became. I've seen things and then things are great. In the Northwest where the dreams are made, no black and white, in the hue of a boss. Riding foes, candy painted glows like the pinky toes on that Katie Mouse. My father taught me to cool the summer. If you never lose, and your days are numbered. These fake dudes are fluid lies, your style's garbage. You screwdrivers in my ears when I hear that you're light years from right here in my rear view mirror. I fear no bitch or child support. Her dying words of the child is yours. Radiation for the TV buzz. My ADHD is more than enough. Changed my mind a couple thousand times, but my action shows that I'm out my mind. Out of pocket, never out of time, and I'm out to get it even without my nine. So protect the field because the crop's divine. Look at the talking heads, I think I'm off my meds.
OPM feel what is real, what is real. OPM feel what is real, what is real. OPM feel what is real, what is real. OPM feel what is real, what is real.
You know, I actually was in a band for a little while where we were doing hardcore vocals and also rapping together. It was called Sinatra.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of like know what that area is, and I don't let it get
every once in a while.
I don't let it get away too far. Like
Yeah.
if you listen to Pain with Wildcard, I'm doing like some harmonies underneath.
Yeah.
And also, if you listen to Mr. Northwest, I have a song called Old Thing, and I'm doing some singing on that.
Okay.
So what I realized is that like my singing voice is my serial number. Like there's nobody who has my unique tone, right? Because I'm so like confident in myself that I can present something to the world that maybe people would say that's technically not right or that's not good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like for me, I could give two shits because it makes me feel alive. It makes me feel good.
That, and also there's enough people in this world that somebody's gonna fucking
Oh, yeah.
there's space for everybody.
100%.
I got over hating on shit that I didn't like because when I realized it was like in the iPod era, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have to listen to the fucking rock radio if I don't like it right now. I got all the songs I want, and then I stopped hating on shit that wasn't for me and realized, hey, that's not they're not trying to fucking get my money, so I'm good. I'm gonna go over here listen to System of a Down because I don't want to listen to Foo Fighters, you know?
No, 100%. And to kind of add on to that, shout out to my homie Tommy Cassidy.
Shout out to Tommy Cassidy. I met him at a show at Ray's like a year or so ago for the first time, but used to follow him back in MySpace.
He's a great guy, always shows a lot of love, a lot of respect. I got a mutual respect for him. One time I went to his studio and I showed him one of my songs where I was singing on. And I don't know what I was expecting for him to say, but I kind of wanted some raw feedback because everybody else was telling me that it sounded great. And then when I showed him, and he's like, oh man, he's like, you should get a singer to do that. And I took that and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep working on my voice until one day I can present myself without having to like feel affected by people's feedback.
Right.
And that's what the pandemic really did for me. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but what I'll say is during the pandemic, podcasting came out for me, but also singing came out because I joined this app called Bars, and it had like an auto-tune feature to it.
Okay.
And so what I was doing was I was entering competitions and competing against other people, but they were rapping and I was singing with auto-tune.
Yeah.
So I started to climb up the ranks on this app, and the app got sold or it got shut down or whatever. It used to be owned by
a bigger app. Probably.
It used to be owned by Instagram, but I think they closed it. But the big point about it was when I left that app, I felt 100% confident for me to actually start laying down like clean vocals and experimenting with like harmonizing and things of that nature.
So this was a fuck of a tangent. What was your first legit performance? You're saying you first were performing at house shows. House shows that you ended up were just you hanging out with a bunch of people, then it turned into a thing.
Yes.
When were you like, all right, I want to present myself as a whatever actual thing and get on stage?
Well, if you follow like my music in any kind of ways, or just my visuals and things of that nature, you'll see that Ray's pops up a couple times. And the reason why I have such a loyalty in like always shouting Rays out and always putting them out there in lights for people to see, even though there's just a local venue, but to me it's so much more than just a local venue, is because they were the first ones to actually give us an opportunity to throw our own show. Rest in peace to Ray. My guy Stan was one of those guys who straight business, like if you came in and said this is what we want to do, how can we do it, he's going to give you an answer, and the next thing you know, we're doing it. And that's exactly what happened. I went to him and said, hey, what would it take for us to throw a show? And then he gave us some amount, and then we paid that amount, and then we ended up being able to break or pay the artist, right? But also make some money on top of that. Nice. So it was a very great first experience. And what it also taught me was that if I'm gonna be able to do this, I got to do it on my own, like from the beginning. And that's the one advantage that I had out of a lot of guys around here, and girls even, is that I never waited for the opportunity for people to notice me or to, hey, we want to do this and we want you to join on. I just always took the Jay-Z approach, which was like, oh, what's the dollar ticket? What's the ticket amount? Okay, that's what we need. Okay, I'll be back. And I just always went, got my money, came back, and took care of it like that. One thing that you'll know about me is that the whole one-man army thing, the one-man record label movement, everything is just me. Like working a job and also raising a daughter, but also saving my money and budgeting in a certain way so I can create the music moves. I don't want anybody to get the misconception that I'm living off of music, because that's not realistic whatsoever. Anything that I have is a blessing from the Lord, but also from the hard work and determination that I put into everything that I do. So I know that a lot of people will see, like I just got a new Tesla this morning, or different like little things, and people will be like, oh, the music's doing good, and I don't want
to think, I work hard.
I don't want them to think that, because that discounts my hard work and the work ethic that I have.
And my good credit. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. And good credit. And that's the important thing. These kids need to learn about credit. They need to learn about financial, independence and all these kind of things. So that's where the next stage of my career is going to be.
Welcome to the Financial Literacy Podcast for Young Rappers with Tory North.
Yes, but that's the love.
Ray's Golden Lion was,
absolutely,
would you say, your first real show?
Yes. We sold like 200 tickets.
Nice.
Like $5 a piece. We wanted to make it super affordable.
Who was all on the bill?
If I remember correctly, it was just a lot of people we were working with at the time. So of course we had C & Sounds, which was like my homie Guty, who owns G's to Gents. And he also is a boxer.
He
has his own gym.
Great singer too. He was like doing
one of the best singers, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't sing. He just goes there.
Yeah, but I think that
Guty, sing. Let's start a band.
He's like Leah Minor in the sense that if everything falls into place, he's gonna He's gonna show you what's up, you know.
Actually, if you can get a hold of her, man, I could put a band together just to perform Just Say It. Let's just do like a live. Let's go to
I'll let her know.
Open mic night or something.
I'll text message her. So Guty, and then there was a band a group called A.D.D who had Roel and Sammy Losa, and Roel's cousins of Roque.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's the older cousin, right?
Yeah.
And Roque was just a little boy watching us and saying like, one day I'm gonna do that shit. And,
when I did the Roque interview for the Shanty, he talked about that. Yeah. So if there's an interconnected fucking Marvel universe here, go check out the interview with Roque and Loud on the Shanty, and you'll get the context for what Tory North was talking about now.
100%. And then of course we had our producers like Marswell and Ali Nav, or at the time. I forgot, he's had so many producer names, but my cousin Pasco Nav is now what he goes by.
Shout out to Pasco Nav.
Those were our household producers, and then we had Guty, who was singing for us. Ruel was singing. Sammy was starting to sing. Rudy Mack was also a part of our group.
Hold on, one more Guty thing while we're on it. Again, shout out to Guty. I backed up Guty when we opened up for fucking Frankie J in Yakima.
Wow. Yep, he's from the Valley. Yep, heavy.
Yeah, that was dope. Shout Guty. See, last time we played together was with Frankie J. We need to do it again, Goots.
Hey, he'd be down to hop on the podcast too. He's got a lot to talk about, so
hell yeah.
Maybe we can get him out here. Right. But yeah, so basically I was working with a producer named Chavs, who's an incredible producer. Back then he had like songs with Frankie J, Pitbull, Ray J, like yeah, so he was pretty big and early on, you know. He produced a lot of my beats, but we had him, City Kid, who was one of his artists. So it was a pretty much like, I knew right away, like, well, for me, my business moves come off of like what's realistic. Right. I'm only going to be able to put this together if I know that I can count on these components. And that's how I looked at it, because I never had shows where people just didn't show up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody had a respect for me to show up, and you know, if we could get them $20 or $10 or whatever we could break off for them. It wasn't about the money, but it was about the opportunity, because this was early 2010s, where we were really breaking a lot of ground in the Northwest as far as like young Latino hip hop artists. Hey, it's Tory again. I need you to check out my song Tri-Town off of the Mr. Northwest album.
One time. Since a tadpole, yeah, I've been mad cold, yeah. Frozen lakes and future homes, always that so, yeah. You can judge with a grudge, use a smudge, ho. Tis the season, you're the reason I don't love hoes. We get it poppin' with a topic when it goes up. She got the masha, she be watching when we roll up. Marswell like Nirvana with the chords. My bars smell like piranha on the board. Tri-Town Tory, my brand is like a sword slash. Headquarters getting orders like it's DoorDash. You been bogus trying to focus like your Ford's crash. Pump your brakes before you break into your Ford dash. Tri-Town, my crown, my sound, my tone, my throne, my clones lie down. New flow, new world, new dough, new girl, new whip, new views, new shit, new moves.
Put your lane with your dame, getting brain all smiles. Wanted to be the man since I was a small child. ADHD had a youngin' all wild. ADHD had a youngin' all wild. I grew up, screw up, you knew us. We came up, the same up, we move up. Don't slow down, don't go down. I grew up, screw up, you knew us. We came up, the same up, we move up. Don't slow down, don't go down.
World Tory, I had to level up. This goes out to all my people screaming, we don't give a fuck. If you put in all the hours, then you know your game's tight. You could lose it in the morning, gain it back the same night. Hustle in my blood, my heart is so hardcore. I've been dripping candy paint since a sophomore. Pushing hoopty, snatching groupies in the carport. Mason jars clanking harder in the transport. Give me my worth, cause this living's absurd. I'm kicking these words until my digits emerge. You spit at these birds, then they leave you disturbed. I think the shit's worse, I always put my chips first. Tri-Town, my crown, my sound, my tone, my throne, my clones lie down. New flow, new world, new dough, new girl, new whip, new views, new shit, new moves.
I switch your lane with your dame, getting brain all all smiles. Wanted to be the man since I was a small child. ADHD had a youngin' all wild. ADHD had a youngin' all wild. I grew up, screw up. You knew us, we came up, the same up, we move up. Don't slow down, don't go down. I grew up, screw up. You knew us, we came up, the same up, we move up. Don't slow down, don't go down.
It's Tri-Town, Tory.
What it do? Yeah.
It's Tri-Town, Tory. It's Tri-Town, Tory.
Tory, no. Ha.
It's Tri-Town,
Alumni
Tory.
up.
La música de Harry Fraud.
What to do? We coming live from the Northwest. We rolling pine trees. Our paint is so wet. What to do? We going live in the Northwest. So catch this live stream or catch this fade next. Yeah, that's a Tri-Town Tory. Tell another story how we came for the glory. Yeah, that's a Tri-Town Tory. Take the city by storm. This is your final warning. The independent, I sign my own check. Double take my own shit. I mean, I snap my own neck. Yeah. Auto collision. I'm going bar for bar like an auto revision. How you gonna say that I ain't raw? 2 brand new coats like I fucked up on my paint job. Second stage like that lemon haze. Smoking lemon on the beverage stage. Country grammar, my ugly grammar is real grime. I could damn rap careers here in real time. Plus compensation from my ill rhymes. Calling illest up because it's kill time. My life in hindsight, my vision was infected. By the year 2020, my vision is perfected. Northwest 509 when the drama is expected. I show up if you cross me like divine intervention. What to do? We coming live from the Northwest. We rolling pine trees. Our paint is so wet. What to do? We going live in the Northwest. So catch this live stream or catch this fade next. Yeah, that's a Tri-Town Tory. Tell another story how we came for the glory. Yeah, that's a Tri-Town Tory. Take the city by storm. This is your final warning.
Tri-Town Tory. 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 Tri-Town, put your motherfucking hands up. Throw your motherfucking hands up. Northwest, put your motherfucking hands up. Throw your motherfucking hands up.
This was around the time where the new boys were hitting, and we were following some of that wave. That's why the swag really.
Oh, dude, you know what?
The swag headline came.
Okay, to be honest, I hated a lot of the fucking pop rap and swag rap and even like Nelly and Missy. But now, as I get older, I'm like, I was just being a fucking hater because those songs, they slap. Like I almost feel like I missed out. I mean, I didn't miss out because I can still fucking vibe to them now.
Right,
but I was too cool back then. I'm like, dude, I'm both Thugs in Harmony, 3 6 Mafia. I don't fucking Nelly, but Pimp Juice is my shit now. I listen to Pimp Juice like weekly.
It really shows you the craftsmanship that used to go into making music. But real quick about the style of music that we were choosing to do. What I knew was I kind of had like a Kanye mentality early on. I knew that a certain element's going to get us in the door.
Right.
But I can rip the top off that element and put my identity and make it my product. And that's exactly what we were doing at that time period. We were taking Soulja Boy style beats. We were taking anything that was hot, and we were just ripping the identity out of it and putting our own into it.
Right.
And that's still what I do to a large extent. If you see like that I got modern aspects to what I'm doing with my music, it's because I still am paying attention to what's going on out here, but not in the sense where I'm like gonna copy anything, but I'm gonna see what the terrain is. I'm gonna see what kind of tires are being driven on this road.
You're not chasing the trend, but you're not above, participating or using what suits you.
Yeah, I walk in and I interpret things for what I think they mean, and then I leave with that information and I do what I will with it. Because I like to take like an entrepreneurial, like an innovative like mindset to things. So someone like Elon Musk is really like, I know a lot of people hate him, but I look up to him in certain aspects. Like I like how he's able to take ownership of something that maybe he didn't create, but he can bring so much innovation and new ideas and thoughts to it that it makes it a better product in the long run. Like X right now is on its way to probably being just as good or even better than Twitter was. And that's just my opinion, but just the new features and where he wants to take things, he's going to be competing with like YouTube and things of that nature, TikTok as well. And I digress, but basically what I'm trying to say is I look at the Flintstone car and try to figure out how I can make it into the Jetson spaceship.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I like to do when it comes to, and that's why I haven't left the Tri-Cities, because this is my stomping grounds. This is my workshop. Like I'm literally trying new songs and then testing them on stage, like as soon as I can. So,
aside from hard hitters, have you been in any other rap groups or part of any other like musical collectives?
Nothing that ever grew legs long enough. I mean, I tried to do some things with some other artists, but for whatever the reason, it just didn't work out. I'm trying to get back to that by doing like EPs with artists. I want to get those things going, and the reason being is because we can keep our own individual identities and just come together for a project.
Yeah, like the King's Disease run, where just one producer, one rapper.
I like that idea.
That was also a great show that you can age gracefully in rap.
Oh yeah, he's having a second, a second run for sure, because Nas is creating classic albums this late into his career. It's
exactly. Well, and we do fall into the kind of middle children of hip hop, right? We were kind of grown up to hold on to these golden era ideals, but the landscape under us changed so fast to, so many different trends to where it is now. But again, I think those of us who don't completely reject the new school and embrace what's good about it tend to, stay afloat, or not necessarily stay relative, but at least stay informed of what is going on. Because me, as being a parent, I realized I can't ignore the evolving world, because if I do, then I don't have context in the world that my children are growing up in. If I don't know who the fuck Young Gravy is and why my kids think he's dope. By the way, Young Gravy is dope. I don't know if you listen to fucking Young Gravy.
Yeah, he's cool.
Like, it's something that I'm not supposed to like, because I'm a 40-year-old fucking old head or whatever.
Right.
But I was like, fucking party at my mama's house, fucking Young Gravy,
Yeah, I think music, you can like it at any age.
Yeah.
Unless something's like specifically geared for like Kids Bop, for example.
Yeah.
I actually like Kids Bop because I have a 7-year-old, so we'll be driving around listening to that shit too. So even that statement isn't 100% valid. But I feel like if you like for example, I'm a fan of so many different genres of music. You would never believe that I like some of the songs that I do.
Actually, along with that, that's a perfect fucking segue. It's almost like we know what we're doing here.
That's right.
Why don't you tell me 3 songs that your listeners, even your fans, your girl, your daughter would be shocked to know that you love these songs.
Okay, there's maybe a handful of people that might know that I like any of these songs, but
all right.
So the first one is "Two Become One" by the Spice Girls.
Oh fuck yeah.
Bro, that is a bop.
That is a fucking banger.
Yeah, if you ever listen to that, like in the right setting, with the right drink,
Yeah.
It hits a little different, right?
With the right person.
Yeah. I love the Spice Girls because I saw what they were trying to do, and from a musical standpoint, I thought that they should have been the biggest thing that there ever was.
Right.
But of course, you got 5 people. It's hard to keep 5 people on the same page.
They had a good run.
Yeah, they did. And their movie's fucking funny too.
Yeah, I've never really watched it, but one of these days I will, I'm sure.
It's from that era where there was just like crazy off the wall. Like, if you ever seen The Pest? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like that kind of comedy that they tried to fit together. Another song is called "The Way" by Fastball.
Oh, I fucking love that one too.
There we go. That song right there is it takes me back to a time period where I just wanted to be on stage and I didn't know how to really to it. But when I heard that song, I was like, I've never really listened to this kind of music, but the hook is stuck in my head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good one. And this one, I love it. I'm not too sure who sings it because I would always just hear it in passing, but it's like that Sandstorm song. That's like that one right there.
I think it's Darude.
Yeah, okay. That song, like literally.
That takes me back to fucking the 90s so hard.
That song right there, it takes you through so many stages of your life just in like, the reminiscing and it's such a great song. Like if I ever came out to like a big show and I wanted to throw people off, I'd put that as an intro.
Hey, yo, Marv. This shit right here. This is on some Poseidon shit, you feel me? A.D.D.
A.D.D is the end of me. A.D.D is the end of me. Is the end of me. Late at night, I cannot sleep. Shut off my mind, I need this weed. Turn off the lights, turn on the screen. A.D.D is the end of me. Authority is the end of me. A.D.D is a friend to me. I do not think sleep's meant for me. A.D.D is the end of me. Late at night, I cannot sleep. Shut off my mind, I need this weed. Turn off the lights, turn on the screen. A.D.D is the end of me. Authority is the enemy. A.D.D is a friend to me. I do not think sleep's meant for me. A.D.D is the end. They brainwash your only child. Take away your reason to smile. A.D.D change the child wild. The internet and the TV dial. Family becomes in debt when spending time is only spent with the Xbox Live and a FaceTime sesh. When you were 9, when your father left, you kill your emotion and follow a step. A.D.D so you follow regret. Can't keep your job or your girl or your ex. Can't communicate so you're late with your text. And you can't procreate so you're late with the sex. You're dead to her yet you read her mind. You find the password every single time. Life is lost to a feeble mind every single time. Late at night, I cannot sleep. Shut off my mind, I need this weed. Turn off the lights, turn on the screen. A.D.D is the end of me. Authority is the enemy. A.D.D is a friend to me. I do not think sleep's meant for me. A.D.D is the end of me. Late at night, I cannot sleep. Shut off my mind, I need this weed. Turn off the lights, turn on the screen. A.D.D is the end of me. Authority is the enemy. A.D.D is a friend to me. I do not think sleep's meant for me. A.D.D is the end of me. All my exes read my texts with the screw face. Yo, go crazy politicking with the two-face. Was supposed to record this track, but it's been 2 days. But my life is back on track, bitch, it's a new day. My mind makes me forget what I really need to know. Can't learn from my mistakes, and I really need to grow. Prove that I am great, but my words are leaving slow. Is my A.D.D the reason, man? I do not even know. Late at night, I cannot sleep. Shut off my mind, I need this weed. Turn off the lights, turn on the screen. A.D.D is the end of me. Authority is the enemy. A.D.D is a friend to me. I do not think sleep's meant for me. A.D.D is the end of me. Late at night, I cannot sleep. Shut off my mind, I need this weed. Turn off the lights, turn on the screen. A.D.D is the end of me. Authority is the enemy. A.D.D is a friend to me. I do not think sleep's meant for me. A.D.D is the end of me. A.D.D isn't love, it's aggression. I pray that I'm safe from the wave of deception. You think that love and trust means possession. You treat your girl like a drunken obsession. Mr. Northwest.
All right, so how did the hard hitters end?
Okay. I think that what it really was we were starting to do shows out of town, and my buddy Eduardo, he's down to do things that make sense. And we were starting to get in the weeds of things that weren't making as much sense.
Oh, yeah.
As far as like money, as far as like travel and things of that nature. So we had a local show where he was going ham. He's a great performer. He punched the ceiling of, I think it was Ray's. He jumped up, punched the ceiling, but he landed on his ankle. And like, I don't know if he broke his shit, but we had to carry him off stage. And after that moment, he took a big backseat, and he even talked about managing me one day. And he got really into clothes, and I thought maybe we could do something with the clothing stuff. But he's always been a support, been my friend for over 20 years, and he's somebody I can hit up, and at any point he's gonna be right there. So
walk me through the infancy and the evolution of Graveyard Shift as your brand or your entity.
Yes. So it started about 2012 when I started working my first Graveyard Shift at a company, Coinstar. What we would do is we'd sit on the phones and we would talk to people, and it was Coinstar Redbox, so I actually worked on the Redbox side of things. And working that Graveyard Shift, it really
rest in peace Redbox, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. What it really did to me at that time period was it showed me like, hey, you can do your work, but you can also work on other things, and there's like very little management that's overseeing so I was writing albums like
nice
without beats, just typing them out, and I was saving them to their own files on the computer, and they knew what I was doing. They saw me doing it for like a couple years and stuff, and they waited till they could get me out of there for a different reason. But I had already created Graveyard Shift in my mind, and this was around the time I discovered podcasting. I was listening to a lot of Joe Rogan, and Joe had a real golden era that a lot of people don't really know about, and it was when he wasn't the biggest deal in the fucking world, where he was going through the ins and outs of learning the podcasting thing. And I remember just thinking to myself, like I can become the person who I want to be, but it's going to take a lot of work.
Right.
And that's where the whole Graveyard Shift mentality came from. You work the 9 to 5, which is still a common thing for me. And then after is when you put the work in for the dream. So Graveyard Shift is us achieving our dreams, but staying up.
I do give you props, man, for not being too proud to admit you're a blue collar musician. That you still work and you still play some shows. You don't lose that pen, you don't lose your drive. And it seems that you also have your hands in you're planting a lot of seeds. Tell me about, is it Graveyard Shift clothing, or is that just...
Yes. So, like how I told you I was a big fan of Elon Musk, I figured out the way to do a lot of things with a little bit of time. And what it is you have to do everything all at once. And so the brands really became interchangeable. So Graveyard Shift is like the tagline for everything that I do. Right. So
Umbrella.
The clothing. So the clothing is a merch company, but it's also like a clothing design company, because I'm branching out of just band T-shirts. We're doing bags. We're doing all sorts of different hats.
Yeah, you just had this is being recorded on September 13th.
Yes.
2024. So you just dropped a hoodie?
Yeah.
This morning?
This morning we dropped our Halloween hoodie. Every year we do a Halloween hoodie specifically for the year, and that's like our biggest selling item. Whatever the Halloween hoodie is, that's where people lock in, because for sure that's one thing that they can't miss.
Is that like the start of your clothing season line or whatever?
Well, I believe when I broke away from just doing T-shirts, because T-shirts are what everybody does initially, right? When I started getting into like, the hats, the beanies, the tote bags and things of that nature, that's when Graveyard really started to form as a clothing brand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so as of right now, I have a clothing brand that just kind of moonlights as a merch. Okay. Sort of, because the Graveyard doesn't really have a reflection of Tory North necessarily, but the aesthetics.
Well, I mean, that's fine. It doesn't need. But where can people find your podcast, your merch, obviously your music also?
Yes. Okay, so I like exclusivity. I like limited edition. So I only create things on a pre-order. And I also do limited numbers, right? So like the hoodies that we're only doing 12 hoodies.
Okay.
All right, and they're going for $45 each, but I try to keep it affordable for people. And the only way that you can get any of my clothes is you have to follow me on one of my social media platforms, and you have to catch the drop when it happens. So for example, I already got half the orders already filled up. I got 6 orders right now for the hoodies, and it's only been, probably 6 hours or so.
Yeah.
So in order to get a part of the clothing, you just got to follow me on my socials, which is, Tory Northwest on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, wherever. Tory Northwest is usually the name. TikTok, it's Tory North. And on Facebook, it's Tory Northwest, or Tory North rather. But that's how you get a hold of the merch or the clothing, right? And then we got the podcast that I got on Spotify and Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts rather, and that's the Tory Talk Podcast. So if you just type in Tory Talk Podcast, it should pop up for you. And I think we're at like 36 episodes or something.
What would listeners, and also, yeah, shout out to Tory Talk Podcast. We don't podcast bang here. We, anybody who, actually, I'd like to know how many other Tri-Cities based podcasts there are out there. If y'all know, please let me know. Let us know, comment. How many podcasts are being produced and operated out of the Tri-Cities? I would love to get that statistic. Some fucking nerd out there, please tell me.
I think that there's probably more than we even imagine.
Oh, well, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like at least 30 or 40. But that's how you get to the podcast. And then the music, of course, is on all the platforms under Tory North.
But what, I guess, content-wise, what do they get on the Tory North podcast?
What the Tory North podcast is, usually I have two different formats that I run. I have like the entertainer musician format, or, you know, whatever you do, if you work for the news station, if you do something that is in the Northwest and it's extra, it's a little bit more than what the average person would normally do, then I have to know enough about it for us to have a conversation that I deem, you know, entertaining for the audience, right? So a lot of it was my rap buddies, my singer buddies, producers, managers, they were all coming through, and we were doing podcasts for them initially. And then I branched off to do my conversation podcast, which is just more of a focus on like mental health and, you know, government, conspiracies, you know, it could just be anything, right?
Okay.
And I would have that labeled as the convos. So that's Tory Talk Convos. And I had a friend who was going through something, and I did a podcast with her, and she asked me to take it down because she didn't like the way that it sounded, and I did it right away. So it just goes to show you, like when I have the podcast, it's a very moldable thing. You can come onto the podcast and you can listen to it before we release it and see if that you get your approval on it. I try not to get into controversies. I know that there's some times where, you know, it's real easy, especially when people are talking about things that are local, to gravitate toward those kind of things. But I want evergreen content. I want things to be listenable for a long time.
Right.
And that's what I focus on making Tory Talk into. Something that's you could throw it on any year and it's relevant to whatever time period.
So you're taking a break from Tory Talk now, but plan on revamping and not necessarily relaunching, but coming back bigger and stronger in
like
2025.
Yeah, season 4. I want to get a nice barrage of episodes together, so that we can showcase them in the right way and do the right rollout and do it bigger than we've done before. I was recording just on my iPhone and Anchor app. That's how I was doing it before, but now I'm trying to see what the possibilities are of maybe stepping it up, maybe doing video, maybe doubling down on it as a business, you know, those kind of things.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Rather than just something I do to leverage the music or the clothes.
What currently do you have going on? Well, your last release was 2020, you said?
My last release for the podcast? Or?
No. I'm sorry. Back to music.
Okay. Yes.
The last album, mixtape,
so I did an album called Mr. Northwest in 2022.
Okay.
2022. Like, I got signed to Illest Alumni Records in 2015 with the homie Illest Illuminati. Yeah, and he's a comic book designer now, actually.
Yeah.
So he's doing incredible things.
Shout out to him.
Mm-hmm. And he's supposed to be coming back to music, so we'll see. But I learned a lot from him and being part of that camp, because they had Tyler Overtime over there too, who's a pretty big artist from Montana. And I've decided to take those tools and that information and bring it right back to the Tri-Cities. And ever since I started doing that, people started to realize the professional level that I bring to the table with every single thing that I do. And, you know, for better or for worse, there's been people who have maybe piggybacked off of that and maybe not necessarily give me credit because I don't care, but like kind of had animosity towards me, almost like they could take my shit and use it against me type energy. So I've had some conflict over the past, 5-6 years with rappers who thought that, now is the time to go at Tory. But, I'm a good natured person, and I promise any rapper who's listening to this, like, you don't want that. You don't want that smoke. Like,
well, yeah.
When it comes to writing,
I think this is a great point to bring up, because I wouldn't necessarily call it smoke, but you and I have had some differences of an opinion, and maybe weren't on the friendliest of terms up until very recently.
Yeah.
And it was all just over obnoxious Facebook shit or whatever.
Yeah.
I
can't even remember.
No, I remember exactly, just because I have one of those memories.
Right.
But yeah, it was one of those things where, I'm somebody who rarely takes themselves or anything seriously. And I think in that mode, or maybe in the moment I caught you in, you were taking yourself very seriously.
Very serious.
And I was wilding out. It's actually on the thing of mental health, this was before I got properly diagnosed for my fucking ADHD. Not that I'm making excuses. I mean, I'll fucking, I'll look you in your face like I was just being a fucking dick. Yeah. Or just asking obnoxious questions. Right. Just, you know.
Like trolling.
Yeah, a little bit of trolling, but again.
I think I remember a little bit.
Yeah, it was about, I know it was about the fucking, Juice WRLD had done the pour and lean over the thing, over the world, right? And which was a rip on the Sherwin-Williams things, but you'd already ripped that like years before. And I think you were maybe joking, but like I kind of shit on your joke.
I was trying to like engage. I was trying to get engagement.
Yeah, you're like, should I take legal action against it? I'm like, dude, you know that's just a Sherwin-Williams thing, and I kind of did just like shit on your joke when you were and tried to make my own joke, and I think you were definitely in the mood where you were not putting up with that. And homeboy, we were grown men. We were both in our 30s at the time. Homeboy blocked me on the social media.
Yep, that block button, man. I'm telling you.
No, it's powerful, man.
I still be doing that shit.
Yeah. No, I just got unblocked a few months ago. But again, I am not afraid to admit, you know, man to man, to talk to somebody. And also, I'm not afraid to sit and have a conversation with somebody that I know I won't always agree with.
Yeah,
because I don't want to be a one-sided perspective.
Yeah, and I'll also imagine the mind state of somebody who is like that. It's like, they're probably not very fun to be around in any kind of circumstance, right? So that comes with growing. I mean, you know, I even myself, like the person who I used to be back in the day, I would whoop his ass because I feel like I had a lot of things wrong, you know, like you know, being young and having your head so far up your ass that you can see your breakfast type shit.
Right.
That was really going on for a lot of it. Narcissism, real heavy.
Right.
But I think what happens, like once you do shrooms a couple times, and hey, don't do shrooms.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, no drugs.
Unless you're in Oregon and it's safe. And
unless it's legal. You're over the age.
I don't know. Whatever.
You know, or smoking heavy amounts of weed if it's legal, right? You know, you start to enter some of your own pathologies, and you start to look at some of the patterns and look at yourself from an outside perspective. And that's what I meant earlier about the mental health stuff. Like, once you put yourself under that microphone or that microscope, you see everything. And
being a parent helps too, because for me personally, seeing all my shitty behaviors in somebody else, for one, it scares me. Like, okay, I don't want my kid to be as bad as me. But also, you see how ugly it is. Like, oh, that's what it looks like when I act like that?
No, 100%.
Yeah, but that's kind of really helped me to be like, okay, I'm not going to act like that anymore because it looks ugly when my daughter does it. So I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and I had my kid when I was 28, 29.
Oh, nice.
So I waited quite a bit because I knew that, you know, the person who I was before that, you know, would not be a really good father figure. And it really took me navigating that whole time period. I almost died. There's a whole story behind that for another day, but you know, it's just hanging out with the wrong people, getting involved with things that are just too destructive for your future. You know,
how has being a parent changed or informed your writing, your artistry, your music, your creativity?
Well, you know, they say that your grind goes like to the next level when you have a kid, and I thought that was just cliche, but I look at myself before and after, and I notice that there's something definitely different about who I am now when it comes to the grinding and the hustling and getting things done. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I have this person, like, you know, who is like looking at me as the strongest force in the universe.
Right.
That I'm the neutralizer. I make everything right. You know, if she's having problems with her mom, I make things right. You know, even to this day, like, I represent something that's good for her.
Yeah.
And we co-parent. You know, I don't have her all the time, but that does allow me to prepare and build the future that I want for her. So
what's next? What's in the future for Tory North?
I'm gonna drop an album, if not this year, early next year. I'm gonna start the podcast up again. And this year, I didn't mention it, but with the clothing, what I've been doing is dropping one item at least a month. So all year, I've been dropping one thing a month. So okay. I'm at like 9 now.
I want to thank you, Tory, for sharing your story and your music with us today. The
that.
Tri-Cities Mixtape Podcast. We welcome you and thank you again. And listeners out there, make sure to follow. What's your ads? Are you
Tory Northwest? I'm Tory Northwest on everything. And
Tory Northwest.
And I do have one statement that I want to say. One last statement. If you're a kid out there who wants to do this music thing, I recommend that you go under the mind state that you're going to do everything by yourself and that you're not going to rely on anybody. And the reason being is because when you rely on people, now you have people who can override you, who can hold you back, marginalize you. The most important thing for you to do is to get a job and start saving and start learning how to budget your money. And the reason being is because there's no better feeling than looking at what you've created after you put all these, hours into what you're doing and knowing that you did it yourself. And also, music saved me from drugs. It saved me from violence, gang violence. It saved me from a lot of things that are very hard to avoid when you're a young kid. And I want you guys to know something. As long as you have music and you have your space, nobody can fuck with that. Nobody can enter that, and that's yours. And that'll keep you safe from the devils that are around every corner. Whether it's, competition that wants to see you downfall, whether it's, problems from the past that want to pop up and drag your name through the mud. I just want you guys to know that you're not alone. I was once that kid who didn't have a voice, and that's why I created Graveyard Shift, because I wanted to be the voice for those people out there who didn't have a voice until they could have their own voice.
So yeah, I want to thank you again, Tory North, and again, find this man online, podcast, clothing, music, Tri-City Zone. Thank you, Tory North.
All right, and thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate you, and I'll love to come do the show again.
Isn't made into his image. See how you live forever, turn your family to a business, and teach the little ones understand the code and living. Dying breed shit is a philosophy. When I'm in my zone, shit, don't nobody talk to me. By the 4th grade, I read the Iliad and Odyssey. Always been an intellect, it's how I say it modestly. Logically, baby shouldn't live inside of poverty. We gotta do better with camaraderie. Ready for whatever, I gotta be. Baby, that's the dog that's inside of me. Maybe how I talk to society. That'll get me bought in variety. Moving to the top, not quietly. And I'll give you top-notch quality. Shit, if I ain't a leader, why you follow me? Son and motherfuckers feeling fatherly. Only care if my mother proud of me. The soul music just a part of me. Can't fall, can't slip. I ain't come this far to just call it quits. No lip, don't trip. I'ma get it all off my own quick. Fast cars, new whips, that's the type of shit I envy since a kid. On the block with my kid, dog. Told you, baby, this is how I live. Hey yo, the fuck you thought? I'ma sit back every single day, feel like a get back. Compare me to y'all's called a mismatch. I don't got time to sit and chit chat. Everybody gangster and they shit go click clack. By the new album, we gon' ship it out and get fresh. You wanna talk fresh with me? Have yourself a tic tac. Yeah, we heard your music, but you don't really live that. Dig that. Back to the wall where your friends at. Came up from the bottom, tell me where do I begin at? Marswell made it, I just float on it and step that. Once I get in motion, yeah, it's something like an Amtrak. Can't stop. I'll pull the brakes if I catch myself slipping. One thing's that I always kept the vision. I feel like they don't wanna hear the wisdom, but I'm here to tell you all that is forbidden. Can't fall, can't slip. I ain't come this far to just call it quits. No lip, don't trip. I'ma get it all off my own quick. Fast cars, new whips. That's the type of shit I envy since a kid. On the block with my kid, dog. Told you, baby, this is how I live.
Real rap that's still trapped to fill rats. I still snap with real tact, I kill crap. I spill facts, I pull out like OE. I kill tracks, no road maps, it's OG. Got wisdom that rolls out like time scroll. Pisces, my nirvana leaves mind blown. When I'm home, I live like my time zone. A jet lag, just sweatpants and headphones. My airlines like hairlines, LeBron's dome. Push back, these kush packs are rhinestones. Scars and trophies and bars and missiles and launch pads. My bars initiated carbon ripple and swamp gas. They sleeping on us, blog critics swamp ass. Down under my sound, thunder the wombats. A clown's hunger, my style blunder the combat. I drown lovers, my rain floods the outcry. No cow tippers, my cash cow, quarter-pound size. I flip houses, I force spouses to downsize. I'm big-headed, no snapback, my crown size. I see stress for my princess with brown eyes. I'm just a father who goes farther than capsize. For every scorn, I'm reborn, I'm baptized. I'm blueprint of the new print of the cash type. Thriving, breathe, surviving thieves, my pastime.